Come on, let's turkey trot. Let's get it while it's hot. Sit down to really fine. Yeah, 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 yeah. Come on, let's turkey trot.
Gobble diddle lip, gobble gobble diddle lip.
The Blab.
You know, the turkey trot was a family favorite around our house for many Thanksgivings until my father started making jokes and extended the metaphor and talked about the turkey trots. And then it became this whole thing where it's like, yeah, don't pay any attention. Welcome, everyone, to the Blab for Thanksgiving 2021. I'm Scott Edward Phelps. Dave Simmons is here. Coming up on the episode this time around, a very, very special episode, paying tribute to those warm, wonderful times when we gather together to share good food, good friends, count our blessings. But we'll talk about tailgating the Eagles game a little later. Before we do that, it's Thanksgiving, so get ready to ask yourself the question that will sweep the nation. Do I really, really want to be part of this family? We get to know each other. But before we do that, the latest, the time list, pardon me, the topical list, late-breaking Blab, specially decorated for this holiday season. I'm going to call the breaking Blab, we're going to call it fresh stuffing. Yeah, thanks a lot.
Turkey kills me.
I paid the extra for the turkey this year. Okay, this is basically, this is stuff I just feel like we should touch on it because there's so much. We talked about not doing any timely current news, but you know, there's just too much going on.
Yeah, we can do it. I don't care.
I know. Well, we'll limit it to, well, we got 2 minutes in. Let's say if I look up and we're like more than 15 minutes, but I think we'll be out before that. Because these are just the quick little headlines that I thought were worth mentioning. And did you see the video of the small group of folks that decided to raid the Nordstrom store in San Francisco?
Yes, I did.
80 people carrying crowbars and wearing ski masks ransacked the store just out of San Francisco, looted the store, assaulted 2 employees. Somebody said, hey, did you hear about it? And I went, what? And I found the link. And I said, well, let me just put it this way. Dave's expression frequently, and it's very succinct and very eloquent and very insightful. And you'll hear Dave say it a lot. In fact, it occurred to me when I was thinking about mentioning this that we should make it a holiday drinking game. Every time you hear Dave say some form of this sentence, take a shot and enjoy yourself. Happy holidays. Because Dave will say something to the effect of, wow, that's crazy, or wow, things are really crazy these days. Absolutely right. And that's what's going on here.
Or the third one, what the fuck is wrong with people?
What the fuck is wrong with people? But it's the word crazy that you want to cue in on.
Yeah.
All right. All I did was I forwarded the story about the 80 people, and it was an organized looting, okay? A drive-by fruiting, and nobody got seriously hurt, but the principal was. And they stole shit, but they didn't case the place per se. It wasn't any mob. They just drove up in a number, 80 people.
It was like a flash loot.
Yeah, you go.
There you go.
All right. Well, here's what I offered for my 2 cents, because you know me, I'm not going to let an opportunity pass. I posted the link onto the Facebook there. And this is what I said in short order. Given the cultural climate, which is the direct result of the political climate, seeing that is abhorrent, but it's no wonder. And the poetic irony just kind of screams out that this little nighttime adventure is right out of A Clockwork Orange. Keyword orange.
Very fine people.
Pretty well, little brother. Pretty well.
You know, is that where we're headed, for heaven's sake?
Well, now, Scott, I rarely defend Donald, but looting is a Black Lives Matter deal. That's not a Donald deal. So,
well, I should probably make it clearer than clear. And when I knew, and I'm going to start trying to not defend my position because my position is locked and loaded. But here's how it is: if it's not Donald in particular, it's Trumpism and this nature of somebody. As Michael Streck posted something about something or other, and I answered back and I said, just in commenting, I said, yeah, you know what? I said, it immediately causes kind of eye rolling and, oh, yeah, okay, here we go again, when I start laying shit like this at the feet of Donald Trump. But Trumpism, the entire foundation of Trumpism is disregard for rule of law and turning people against each other. So anything and everything that comes along in that regard goes right back to his doorstep. Whether he's actively pushing buttons now, and it's ridiculous. He's not the cause of that thing, but those who create the atmosphere and the attitude live with the thing and all that. As we speak, as we do this broadcast right now, there is no word on a verdict, but the jury is out, or has just begun out, actually deliberating in Brunswick, Glenn County, Georgia, on the Ahmaud Arbery trial, which is the trial of the 3 defendants accused of killing that black kid who was inside a house under construction.
Right.
We don't want to spend an inordinate amount of time, and by the time we do another regular show, hopefully
they'll have some kind of a decision.
But let me make an SCP prediction. First of all, I lived right there in that town for about 2 years. I did radio there. It's a lovely area. St. Simon's Island on the Georgia coast there. It's just, it's the best kept secret as far as vacation stuff is concerned and all that. And a lot of very nice people. But don't kid yourself, it's still Georgia. And the victim was black, and the 3 good old boys who are on trial, etc. So my prediction is they're going to walk. It's going to be an outrage, and people are not going to be happy, but that's what's going to happen.
Do you really think they're going to walk?
I do, and I look forward to the possibility that I might be wrong, and I will be the first person to go, wow, I was wrong, and that I just didn't believe that was going to happen, but I think that's exactly what's going to happen. And in that spirit, by golly, we got to talk about Killer Kyle.
This case has nothing to do with race. It never had anything to do with race. It had to do with the right to self-defense. Right. I'm not a racist person. I support the BLM movement. I support peacefully demonstrating. I believe there needs to be change. I believe there's a lot of prosecutorial misconduct, not just in my case, but in other cases. And it's just amazing to see how much a prosecutor can take advantage of somebody.
Now he's an expert on prosecutorial persecution. He's a hero to a large number of the people on the right-hand side of the right.
I don't look at him as a hero.
Well, Fox News mostly is disavowing that notion. Your boy Tucker isn't playing nice and doing himself any favors, but he doesn't care. He's on a mission to become the next Hannity, and that's all he cares. But again, we're like, I don't want to spend 20 minutes doing all this shit because we could just have fun and goof off today. But I narrowed this down this way because this thing has been minced and diced and diced and minced and back and forth, and we don't need to jump.
And there was so much misreporting as well.
As always.
Well,
that's the American way. But here's the thing. I'm big about things, and I got a thing under the thing. The thing is this: not guilty of all counts. So he's not going to be held accountable. And I've read a little of the blathering and all the stuff that goes on, and those who want to make a hero out of this kid, or even those who say, well, he had a right to be there. Well, he had a right to carry a weapon. Well, I'm tired of hearing that bullshit, because here's the thing. I agree with you. He had every right to be there. He had every right to carry a weapon in terms of the literal technical right to the law. In my opinion, and I could back it up in court if I had to, he had no fucking business being there, except for, and he had no fucking reason to carry a military-grade weapon, except for, and anybody wants to contest me, we'll do a whole nother show in a week or two, for one of 3 reasons. He either had incredibly low self-esteem and decided he wanted to strut his stuff. He either has a pencil dick, which is the same thing as low self-esteem, because that's why he was carrying the rifle, or he simply hoped like a bitch to be a cool guy and perhaps even get the chance to shoot at somebody, which is exactly what happened. Now, that's the thing. But here's the thing under the thing.
Kyle Rittenhouse is not guilty, my friends. You have a right to defend yourselves. Be armed, be dangerous, and be moral.
Be armed, be dangerous, and be moral. The sequel to the Great Reflections tune of the 1970s. Be young, be foolish, be happy. Yep, just another dumb redneck from the right-hand side of the street squawking and squealing and squishing. No, you know who that was? Just saying that just now?
Who was that saying that?
United States Congressman from the glorious state of North Carolina, Republicans' pride and joy, next to, the rest of those fucking idiots, Madison Cawthorn. Be armed, be dangerous, be moral. He did a little cell phone video in his car. Yeah. Kyle is not guilty.
Oh, you tickle me, Scott.
Me.
We did I watched the kind of a little autopsy of that trial. The moment they showed that video, they knew that he was going to be acquitted. The video of them chasing him, them attacking him, because then it became a self-defense case. And when it's a self-defense case, everything else is thrown out.
Okay, I won't argue the finer points of that.
No, I mean that was an attorney that was that.
I know,
yeah.
and I'm not questioning the verdict per se, because anything that happened was. But I said what I said, and I feel this strongly. His being there, he lied through his teeth as fast and as heartless as he could, and he wept and that was the thing on the stand, because he knew his ass was in trouble, and he's a kid. He's a child.
Yep.
He had no fucking business doing what he was doing or being where he was.
I agree.
He was with a gun at a riot. But this thing with Hawthorne, just to throw that in for 2 minutes worth, let me just share. This the other thing in the posting of that little video. What you don't hear him say, because he didn't say it, he put it in the text. Kyle, if you want an internship, reach out to me.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Now here's the thing for me under the thing. 2 things quickly. First, not guilty, idiot Madison Cawthorn, is not the same thing as innocent. Not guilty is a technical court legal term. You are found not guilty of charges or guilty, okay? OJ was found not guilty,
exactly.
Too. And there's I think at last count, 3 people on the planet who don't think that he butchered those people.
And they're dead.
Yeah, deader than dead.
They didn't think he was a killer before they died. That's the only reason they don't think he's a killer.
But here's the second thing, and then I'll get off of it. I heard even Biden use some form of this. Well, the jury has spoken. We must abide with the jury system. Yeah, we must. I guess we do. But here's my personal hair-up-the-ass problem with abiding by the jury system, at least these days, in any case that has anything to do with a whiff of Trumpism or hard right bullshit going on. It's not enough that the Nazi flag can fly. It's not enough that they're very fine people. It's not enough that the asylum inmates are free to walk the streets with fucking assault rifles on their shoulders. And it's not enough that they end up, for whatever fucking reason, killing people and they shouldn't be in the situation and getting away with it. No, now we have to make heroes out of them too. Come be an intern. And you didn't see Donald Jr. I wish we had the
the hero worship thing is bullshit.
Don Jr. posted a photoshopped picture with the cat on Twitter, or it was Instagram, and the caption said, 2024, question mark, could be, exclamation point. The picture was a Photoshop picture of his father, the orange idiot, putting the National Citizens Merit Badge of Honor around, the civilian equivalent of the Medal of Honor.
The Medal of Honor, yeah.
Around Kyle's neck.
Oh, well. It's par for the course. I don't, like I said, I don't agree with the hero worship. And it's very right. You're very correct in saying that, he shouldn't have been there. Yeah. Now, I think personally, he should have only been on trial for one murder, because the second murder and the guy that he shot his arm, that was death by stupidity, because he already killed one person. Why are you going to run at his ass and attack him? Mm-hmm. So that's death by stupidity.
Mm-hmm. And yet the problem with the problem under the problem is the kid is, first of all, he's walking away scot-free. Mm-hmm. But as I just explained, I don't want to keep beating it up because we're here to be festive. Now he's being interviewed. Now, yeah. And I didn't even get into, or later in the day or as part of Tucker's interview with him, Carlson asked him something about Biden calling him a white supremacist or whatever Biden had commented back a couple of weeks or whatever. And right. How old is this fucking kid, by the way?
I think he's 17.
Okay. This 17-year-old basement-dwelling idiot is talking about, well, I think the president needs to examine now he's going to have his own fucking Fox News show.
Talking about an 83-year-old basement-dwelling idiot.
By the way, I heard something this week, and I can't remember where I heard it, but I immediately thought of you, and I made a mental note. I wanted to share it with you because it was perfect. It was a podcast or a piece of a podcast I was listening to for another reason, but they were talking about the election in 2020 and the various disadvantages one way or the other. And this sums it up for me perfectly, because I'm the one who for months has been saying, I'm not a big fan of Joe or his presidency, but he's methadone, et cetera.
Right.
This guy said, in the context of another thing to another guy on the podcast, he said, well, we all know what it boiled down to, the choice. The choice was we pick a nice old guy with Alzheimer's or we pick a really mean fucking old guy with dementia.
Yeah, that's pretty much that sums it up.
And there you are.
Yeah.
All right. Ordinarily, David.
Well, did you like the meme I sent you?
Which one?
Well, it's that Kyle Rittenhouse kills three white guys, and suddenly Black Lives Matter protests.
Oh,
so now all lives matter all of a sudden.
I don't. That's just again. That's beneath all of us.
But it was funny.
Okay. And now that we're all festive and shit, Dave and I usually sit around and we're just two guys talking. But it's Thanksgiving, so now we're just two guys turking.
Because I'm all about that bass, more butter. I'm all about that bass,
Bass. All right, first of all, totally non sequitur. We're going to have a little contest on the show. We got about 45 minutes left in the program. Here's what it's going to be. And play along for fun, okay? Don't do what I know most of you will do, and I'm going to very quickly editorialize. I did regular radio for a long time. Some talk radio, but mostly music radio. So we did a lot of trivia contests. We did a lot of third caller at 814-44-4. We'll get to it. You know what? The internet just fucking ruined that.
Yes.
Google ruined that. Took all the fun and charm out of it. Because when I say, hey, who was the 14th president, before I could get the words 14th out of my mouth, somebody was calling with the answer because they Googled it. Don't fucking Google this, okay? Just have fun. At the end of the program, I'll tell you the answer. And maybe it'll be a big prize, okay? And you can send us your entries however you want. I don't care. Carrier pigeon. It's a holiday. We're going to have fun, okay? And here's the riddle. Here's the trivia question. There aren't very many, and actually there aren't any really wow, that is, Thanksgiving songs, okay, as there are Christmas songs. Mm-hmm. But one song, a very well-known Christmas song, was originally composed for the purpose of being a Thanksgiving song and was changed by popular demand in the way back when. What song was that? Think about it. Don't Google.
I know.
Just think about it. Do you know which one it was?
I know.
Okay. Well, then you'll win the contest later on, but not now. I just want that to German charm.
And you know that I haven't touched my phone, so I didn't Google.
Not yet, but I've got my eye on you.
No,
I know. All right. Well, that'll come later.
Hold on a second. Cover your mic.
Yeah. Okay. I knew you knew. You didn't have to validate. And can I just offer this? And I would promise that this is the first time and only time I'm going to rag on it, but you know me better than that. No. It's not Mariah fucking Carey. Okay? Now there's that. One other little thing that has absolutely nothing to do with the holiday and is, I guess, semi-categorized as a buzzkill, but I wanted to mention it because I have a little personal thing about it.
Hey,
I have a little
we
personal
weren't talking
thing.
about your little personal
personal
thing.
thing about it.
But that little personal thing, it takes two adults to get you off.
Let me ask you something.
Yes, sir.
How many ex-wives you got?
None.
I got 4. So shut the fuck up because they weren't marrying me for my money, buddy. Okay? You know what I'm saying?
There you go.
There you go. All right. Now on this ridiculous note, and I think he would appreciate the fact that I'm segueing into this with all this crap we're doing because he was a very funny guy. Billy Hinchy passed away.
Yeah, I saw that.
This past week. Billy Hinchy was 70 years old. He was a pop singer, boy hero, part of the 60s group Dino Desi and Belly.
Do you know what I didn't realize?
What?
He was Filipino. I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
I mean, Hinchy's not a normal Filipino name.
Well, but don't names and all that. But the thing is, and I've been teasing for a while that I'm getting a little uncomfortable with the fact that every time it seems like every time I see somebody passing away of a celebrity nature, they're not like 86, or they're not 42 and lost in a car crash. There's been a lot of 70 and 71-year-olds dropping dead lately, and I don't mind telling you that I don't care for that at all. But Billy, and I didn't know he was ill, and apparently, quote unquote, he didn't either. The original story that he passed away, and I thought, gosh, that was sudden, and I am, because of morning show websites where I go to check information and take a look from time to time, I would have kind of been in the loop on that. But Lucy Arnaz, Desi and Lucy's daughter, was a childhood friend from childhood of Billy's. They were high school classmates, Beverly Hills High School. That's how Dino, Desi, and Billy got started.
Right.
Because Billy and Dino and Desi were friends.
I had that album, believe it or not. Well, it was in my uncle's record collection.
There you go. And if you don't know Dino, Desi, and Billy, it was cute as all giddy up. Dino was the son of Dean Martin. Desi was the son of Desi Arnaz and Lucille Ball. And Billy was just Billy. But they were all buddies, and they did this thing. And they got a record deal. Imagine that. And just,
Yeah.
Yeah. And on a record label owned by Dean Martin's friend, Frank Sinatra. But that's a fun story.
They were on Reprise, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
That was the record label. But Lucy Arnaz posted about a few hours after the news went out that Billy had passed away. She said, heartbroken, sudden, etc. He was diagnosed, he died of giant cell carcinoma, and I had to go look that up. It's a rare form or a powerful form of lung cancer.
Oh, wow.
He was diagnosed 3 weeks ago.
Wow. That is
And I had
powerful.
seen, and I'm a Facebook friend with him, so I had seen some relative posts of him getting ready to do this, and he had a podcast going on and all that, and he seemed fine, and that's why it kind of caught me off balance. And then when I heard this, like 3 weeks. So get your shit in order, man, because anyway, the reason it's personal for me is that many years ago now, about 20 years ago, when I was doing music radio in Annapolis, on a whim, I just decided to contact some folks and see if I could get them to come on the show and be interviewed, because it was just a little radio station and there was no cloud involved or anything. And I don't remember why Billy's name came up, but it did, and I managed to score an email address, and I just shot him an email, nothing ventured, and he answered back and said, sure. And he came on my morning radio show, and we talked for about a half an hour. It was great. He was so pleasant and so personable that I was also doing on this little homegrown radio station. On Sundays, I was doing a 3-hour talk show called Talk Show. Okay. But it was me.
Clever name.
Yeah. Well, you know what was really clever? Because I doctored it up for the theme music, the Paul McCartney and Wings thing, rock show.
Yeah.
Well, I doctored it with a little so it sounded like Paul and Linda were singing Talk Show and the Bubba Manu. Anyway, I asked Billy if he would come on a segment. He said, sure. He was with me the whole 3 hours.
Nice.
Just part of a panel. And he was just a lovely guy and very funny, very talented fellow. And 70 is too damn young.
Yeah, I had another death too, Paul Revere, narrators.
Keith Allison.
He
looked a lot like Paul McCartney back in the day.
Yes, he did.
I got to tell you, that got him some serious tail. I'm just telling you.
And he co-wrote one of the Monkees hits, Auntie's Municipal Court.
Was that Keith Allison?
Yep.
Okay.
With Mike Nesmith. He was friends with Mike Nesmith.
Yeah, well, they were all running buddies back in the day.
Yeah.
All right, so I just wanted to mention Billy's passing and say that, gee whiz, Billy. But he's hanging out with Dino and all that. If you believe that stuff, then there you go. So let's talk about anything that has to do with holiday, okay? Here's one thing I thought was interesting. They're going to have the Times Square ball drop New Year's Eve.
He said ball.
Ball, yeah. And my panel's used up today. I have no dicks or pussies that I can offer you. Best I can do.
Such a shame.
Best I can do is a gobble. But they're gonna do this in Times Square. Now, if you've seen this thing on television, even, or if you've ever seen it participated, it's quite the crowd. Yeah, they're gonna have to provide proof of vaccination to get into the Times Square area to do the ball.
So are they going to fence off that whole section of New York?
I don't know. De Blasio, he announced on the 16th, crowds will be back in Times Square, but they will have to provide proof of vaccination or proof of a negative COVID. You know the drill.
Right.
I don't know what to say to that.
It'll be proof of vaccination like I had to provide proof of vaccination when I went to the concert.
Yeah.
Flash up something white on your phone and they'll pass you through.
Yeah. And some guy with the clipboard will just nod his head like, yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
Because I'm the, what is it? I'm the actuary with, I can't think of the line. It's Big Bang Theory. I'm the expert with the clipboard, bitch, or something. And go, it's just, yeah, good intentions, but come on.
Yeah,
it's like 60 kabillion people.
They're going through the motions, And I don't know why I thought there would be more attention paid to it, because the guy's standing at the door, and the theater holds 2,500 or 3,000 people.
Right?
Is he going to check 3,000 names?
Well, I meant to ask you what your average in those size crowds, and when you're talking about 2,500 or 3,000 people, and you've got to be thinking what 10, 15,000 people at least down in Times Square.
At least. Yeah.
So
that's
well done, Mayor D.
Hey, do you know how many calories
we're going to go right for the calories
that an average American consumes on Thanksgiving Day?
73,604.
No, just a realistic.
10,000.
Now, 4,500 calories an average American eats with 229 grams of fat.
Yeah.
That's a lot of food.
Just in, Thanksgiving is not a healthy holiday. But you know what it is? It's boot camp for Christmas. If you survive Thanksgiving without a cardiac event, then you can blow right on into Christmas.
I have a
time.
quick question because I don't know the answer to this.
Okay.
Why the very first Thanksgiving with the Pilgrims and the Native Americans,
Indigenous people,
the indigenous people, they consumed freshly killed deer, cornbread, seafood, porridge, and assorted wild fowl, among other foods. Why did it become turkey? I don't know the answer to that. Do you know?
No. I will tell you that I did a modest amount of research because first I'm old, second I'm lazy, and third Billy Inchy died and he was 70. It made me feel like, do I want to spend the rest of my fucking life looking up useless crap like this? But there was something to do with turkeys either weren't that plentiful or it wasn't something that people ate as a rule, or it just kind of wormed its way, no pun intended, into the... No, but specifically, I don't know.
Yeah, I wondered because I started thinking about that, but I thought about it after I had looked up some stuff.
While you people who are listening to this are by now you're certainly through Googling to get the name of the song that was the Thanksgiving tune turned into a Christmas song. Now that you're done looking that shit up, when I asked you not to, why don't you go ahead and look up why turkey and send it to us in some form, and then we'll know.
There you go.
All right. As far as that goes, and plenty of food information coming, by the way, but. In spirit with what Dave's doing there, I thought, hey, one of the great family traditions in my family at Thanksgiving time was to sit around and talk about useless shit.
And now, useless facts.
For example, that Ben Franklin actually was the one who nicknamed turkeys Tom. The term Tom turkey
I didn't
comes
know
from
that.
Franklin. Well, the oft-told story, the urban legend, is that he did that as a shot back at, no pun intended, back at Thomas Jefferson.
Okay.
Because they had a little thing going on. Ben Franklin wanted the turkey to be the national bird.
I do remember reading that in school.
And Thomas Jefferson said, no.
No.
And became the eagle.
Right.
All right. Although the way things have turned out, I think turkey as the national bird of this country is so much more appropriate now.
How about buzzard?
Well,
the national buzzard.
Hopefully we haven't gotten that far yet. Anyway, so Jefferson overruled him, and then the rumor flew that, so Ben called him Tom and blah, blah, blah. Apparently, experts say, if you think about it, male animals of all kinds, all species, including, for example, cats, of course, are very often nicknamed Tom.
Right.
So there's nothing having to do with that. But isn't that interesting and useless as far as information is concerned?
Yeah, quite useless.
All right. Remember Swanson dinners?
Yes.
TV dinners.
Frozen dinners, yes.
People today wouldn't really remember. There's frozen meals and things.
Well, yeah, there's Stofers and stuff like that. But
it was a tin tray. If you think of a cafeteria tray with compartments, okay, but it was made out of tin foil. But when I say tin foil, think about aluminum foil that is so hard that you can use it as a little tray. And it had compartments.
It's almost like the bottom of a Jiffy Pop. Remember the Jiffy Pop?
There you go.
Yeah.
Now, people may not remember that.
That's true.
Okay.
That is true.
And in the compartments. But I didn't know this, and this was amazing because this narrows it down to now 31 things in life that I didn't know. Now we're down to 31. In 1953, a worker at Swanson, which was the manufacturer of foods and frozen foods, ordered too many frozen turkeys, 260 tons too many turkeys. So a company salesman named Jerry Thomas had the idea to create a packaged dinner on aluminum trays, and an assembly line of women took the turkey, cornbread dressing, peas, and sweet potatoes onto the trays, and voila, the first ever TV dinner. And it was from Thanksgiving leftovers.
Wow.
And too many turkeys.
That's pretty crazy.
Of course, now we don't have TV dinners. You used to have to put them in the oven with the foil. It had a foil top, and you'd peel the foil back just enough to get it to air and all the rest of that. And inevitably, it tasted like crap, and you would burn the shit out of yourself at some point reaching for them.
And it even had a little cobbler section.
Yeah.
Yeah, it had a dessert in it, too.
Cherry or apple cobbler.
Yep.
Yeah. But yeah.
I remember.
Somebody's probably still got one of those stashed in a refrigerator somewhere and doesn't realize it. All right, what else? This is have you got a useless fact you want to share? Intentionally or unintentionally?
Yeah.
I didn't tell you about this, so maybe you thought you had.
Macy's Thanksgiving Parade. You know, that's the biggest thing.
It's useless.
But no. Do you know how that started?
No, but I'm sure Tucker Carlson has some kind of.
Well, no. The first Macy's Thanksgiving Parade was held in 1924, and it was just Macy's employees.
Huh.
There weren't the big blow-up inflatable things that came later. I think they started like 3 or 4 years later. They introduced the big ballooned,
And if I recall correctly, and I don't know whether you've got that information, but in the course of my looking things up excitedly this week, the first parade didn't have the balloon animals.
No, it didn't have any balloons.
No, but it did have something interesting and unique.
What?
Zoo animals.
Oh,
They
yeah.
opened up the zoo and put the animals on the leashes, and that's what you want. You don't want to take the kids to stand on the side of the street as the Bengal
You want a
tiger
lion,
walks by.
yeah. You want a lion on a leash to eat your child on Thanksgiving Day.
Yeah,
But they said basically it was Macy's employees in the parade.
Well, that's
it.
lovely.
Yeah.
And ideally, no SUV went crashing through on the way to.
No, not firing and yelling obscenities now.
Too soon. Running over grandmas in the street. I'm telling you, man.
Did you see what the guy put on his Twitter? He's like, it was a video of him, and he was saying, "You're gonna remember this face, motherfuckers." And it's like, what would make somebody that insane?
Well, as my friend Dave likes to say, things are crazy, man. They're just crazy. I like this one. I thought of you, and I don't want you to take this the wrong way,
okay.
but the busiest time in the entire year for plumbers is the 24 hours following Thanksgiving.
Oh, that makes
The combination, but I thought, well, okay, and I was making, was it Clogzilla, Howard Wolowitz? Yeah. I thought that, well, sure. But there's other things. Clogged sink drains.
Yes.
From all the cooking. Broken garbage disposals.
Right.
From all the whatever. Out of commission toilets, of course, because you put it in and then it comes right back out. So you might want to give somebody an early Christmas gift. A plunger is a nice, thoughtful gift.
Plunger.
It might help, even if you don't know how to use one.
Get your septic field drained.
I just, plus I guess if you're you got a family a house full of family and you've got one bathroom and the toilet is super clogged, you own the world if you're a plumber.
Oh yeah.
You could say, yeah, that'll be $3,000, please. Cash only.
That makes perfect sense.
All right. And now here's a fun useless to wrap up this exciting segment. Sarah Josepha Hale. Name ring a bell?
Was it Alan Hale's wife that played the skipper?
No, but good guess. Not so much. No. She was the woman responsible for making Thanksgiving an official holiday. And you're asking yourself, who? She was a writer, Sarah Josepha Hale, and I think Josepha was the female equivalent of Joseph back in the day. She petitioned the government for 17 years in a row, and it was in 1863 that she finally convinced Abraham Lincoln to make Thanksgiving a national holiday. But wait, there's more. You may not think that you know Sarah Josepha Hale, and maybe you don't, but you do know of her, even if you think you don't, because she also did something else. I should have put this as the riddles.
She had Alan Hale. That was Alan Hale's mother.
No,
okay.
No, she actually added one more thing to the traditions of America. She wrote this song. Mary Had a Little Lamb.
Oh, really?
That's right. Back in whatever year it was. And people who don't care for it, could have been worse.
Christmas time is here again.
What the hell is it? All right, wait a minute. See, that was a misfire. Live radio, isn't it exciting? Let's do that again. Okay. Sarah wrote Mary Had a Little Lamb. If it's kind of dull and kind of boring and it doesn't do anything for you, you should count your blessings because it was Sarah Josepha Hale that wrote Mary Had a Little Lamb, not Yoko.
What the hell is that?
I think we've covered that before. All right.
That was actually her cover of Mary Had a Little Lamb.
Yeah. In fact, it was. That's what makes it so fucking frightening. We have had a kind of a semi-institution here on the old program for the many years. We've been doing the show, and we stopped doing it for a while. I don't know why, because I got lazy and didn't want to fuck with it. But I thought, we need to bring it back. So starting next week, or next new episode, depending on when we do the next episode, we're going to bring back the stick of the week. For those of you who are familiar, I won't tell you. For those of you who aren't familiar, the rest of you just hush for a minute while I explain it. A lot of shows give the award for Doofus of the Week, Dick of the Week, but we're so much more tasteful than that around here. So we came up with Stick of the Week, like stick it up your ass. But we're going to re-inaugurate it right here in a festive and festering holiday frame by awarding the Drumstick of the Week. Turkey in the straw, turkey in the jaw. I did give Dave a heads up that we were doing this, and so I said, hey, if you want to bring one in, bring one in. Did you bring one in?
I fucking hate everybody, so no.
Dave's an equal opportunity hater.
I got a drumstick for every fucking body. What the hell just
That's
happened?
my chair. I got my chair arms go up and down. This is the gaming chair my wife got me. As
it's a beautiful chair.
It's a beautiful chair, and it hurts my ass. Like I can't tell you. But I love her, and she was so sweet about it. All right, well, that's good, because I don't want to wail on this guy, because we've already had enough of that shit, and I don't want to argue about it. But I will tell you this. My drumstick of the week, of the year for that matter, is Bruce Schroeder. Okay, he's the judge in the Kyle Rittenhouse trial. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to say that he is responsible for the verdict, because I don't know that, and I'm one of those people that always chastises other people, Dave, for saying things like, I know this to be true, when you can't really tell because you don't have the evidence. But from what I heard, and from what I saw and what I read, and not media interpretations, just his quotes and all the rest of that kind of stuff, this guy steered that trial. He didn't preside over it. Whether he decided that this kid got a bad break from the beginning and subliminally, but he just, and the real, for those who are genuinely concerned about the fact that justice, quote unquote, wasn't done, or they feel like justice wasn't done, or what happened wasn't fair, that this kid should be accountable in some fashion for what he did, rather than just walking away scot-free. The extra frustration is, because he was found not guilty, there can be no appeal on any grounds.
Right.
So if the judge is determined 2 weeks from now to have been, and for my money, he's close to it, a first-class fuck-up as far as doing the kind of job that this sort of thing dictated, it's too bad, because he was found not guilty. If he'd been found guilty, then that's what you appeal. But, and it just seems like, I think, again, not to get into a long harangue, but I call it Lance Ito-itis. Remember Lance Ito?
Oh, yeah.
He was OJ's judge.
Uh-huh.
This celebrity, all eyes are on us, all eyes are on me. It can't, you got to be a real solid,
well, you know what
grounded
I
person.
I noticed? This paralleled the OJ trial in a lot of ways. And when I say that, it did have a judge that kind of became a celebrity. It also had a prosecuting attorney that was not real good at their job. You know what I mean? So it was a number of things that led to this. I don't think he may have stirred the decision a little bit, but I don't think he was the sole.
Well, I'll give you one example
thing
of the reason that he gets the award in my money. And I read the story when it went down, and my immediate reaction was not to knee jerk and go, "Oh, there you go, one of my favorite news organizations." He banned MSNBC from being there after a reporter was found to be chasing whatever they were told. The jury bus, when the jury was going back to the hotel. What happened was, as far as I could glean, and again, I didn't spend a lot of time worrying about it or checking it out, but another story that I saw was apparently this was a freelancer who was doing things and reporting to MSNBC, who was in fact just behind the bus, wasn't tailing the bus for any nefarious reason or the rest of that. But see, when something like that happens, and a judge literally immediately goes, all right, well, you're banned because you can't chase the bus. See, that's somebody who's got the spotlight. That's not somebody who says, well, we need to look into this and see what's going on. And if I find out there was something nefarious, then I'm going to take action.
Right.
He just pulled the fucking trigger. That's a case of celebrity. And so thanks in at least some part to Bruce Schroeder. And by the way, tiny editorial, nothing makes me pucker faster rectally and laugh louder at the same time. And this goes for congressmen, women, and everything else too. My petition for the new year is stop this bullshit of prefacing their names with the honorable. It's 2021 Trump America. That's a fucking joke. The honorable? The honorable what?
The honorable Elijah Muhammad.
Damn right.
Oh, speaking of that, did you see they found Malcolm X's daughter dead this morning?
Yeah. And they don't
They don't think it's They said
they're pretty sure it's death.
Yeah,
they're not.
But they didn't see. It didn't seem nefarious. Let's say that.
No, natural causes. They think she was 56.
Yeah,
I was kind of. I don't want to say happy. That would be cruel. I was kind of relieved that she wasn't 70. I mean, I need every break I can get. Let's do. You know, we do rim shots every week to great acclaim, but it's a festive holiday season and festering. But you know what? We could do Thanksgiving rim shots.
Let family happy. Don't you ever wear a frown. Don't let the bastards grind you down.
All right, this is kind of related to the holidays. It's Christmas, or Christmas Eve, but Dave will like this because it's one of our favorites here on the old show. Billie Eilish is going to host SNL on December 10th, and she's going to be the musical guest, which is what they do when the musical person is also the host. Saves them some bucks. And we understand our investigative team checked it out. She's going to be performing a medley/mashup, for all you young people there, of all of her songs to date, every single one of them, including the Bond theme that she wrote with her brother for No Time to Die, and her brand new Christmas single, all in one like little medley thing. And you know, it wouldn't be the Blab if we didn't have a sneak preview for you exclusively right here.
Yeah, I'm not coming home. It's just no time to die. Yeah, I'm not coming home for Christmas.
I want to see if we can get her on the show. I'm sure she'd be delighted to come and chat with us. Sarah Silverman, you know who she is?
yes, I do.
Okay. She was actually, you know that she and Jimmy Kimmel were an item
They
for
were
a long
engaged.
time. They were.
They had that big thing with I'm fucking. It was a song, not Ben Affleck. What's his partner?
Matt Damon.
Matt Damon.
Yeah.
I'm fucking Matt Damon.
I'm fucking Matt Damon.
She wrote that song.
For those of you who missed the nostalgic romantic ballads like
Yes.
I Get a Kick Out of You and shit like that, I'm fucking Matt Damon.
And then Jimmy, he answered. Jimmy Kimmel answered with "I'm fucking Ben Affleck."
Yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
Funny kids. It ain't Dick Van Dyke and Laura Petrie, but what are you going to do? Anyway, Sarah Silverman is voicing a new animated HBO Max series about the first female Santa. Okay. It's called Santa's Inc. or Santa's Incorporated. The name's kind of lame. Although I got to thinking about it and I thought, well, you know what? If it was on WeTV and it was right after Love After Lockup, but right before Hip Hop Marriage Boot Camp, I think they could call it Ho, Ho, Ho. Who you calling a hoe? Speaking of the Orange Idiot, which we haven't done that much of, but hey, here we go. He has released his first post-presidency book. You heard about this?
Mm-mm.
And this is not a joke. I mean, he's a joke, but this is not a joke. It's a coffee table style photo book called Our Journey Together and contains more than 300 images, many with captions written by him. Yeah, sure. But I thought about it and I looked at it, the picture of it. I thought, well, you know what? Very practical Christmas gift. It's really an actually large, big coffee table style book. Perfect for
the size of a coffee table.
And it makes a coffee table if you don't have one. And the size of it, perfect for smashing through the windows of the United States Capitol.
You remember Kramer's coffee table book? There was a coffee table.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You can
That's
pull
awesome.
the legs out from under it.
That's
That's
awesome.
when he spit-taked all over, spit-took. What's the past tense of spit-take?
I think
And-
spit take is the past tense of spit take.
And speaking of Saturday Night Live, if I was 40 years younger and not happily married, I'd be stalking Cecily Strong. She's a dish, she's a talent, and there's a whole thing there. And what she does, she doesn't do a lot of stuff. Well, she does now because she's been a cast member for quite a while. But her impersonation of Judge Janine Perrow is absolutely
Yeah, it's very good.
very, very good. Well, in talking about the old killer Kyle, the youngster with the assault rifle, Cecily was on the job as Judge Janine Perrow.
Good evening, I'm Judge Janine Pirro. Top story, Kyle Rittenhouse was acquitted of all charges. That lovable scamp was put through a nightmare of a trial just for doing the bravest thing any American can do, protecting an empty used car lot in someone else's town.
I like her. They did pretty well. They also had the new Trump guy on the split screen with her, who sounds so much like Donald that I wish we'd elect him to
The thing that's really funny is he sounds like Donald, but I think Alec Baldwin looked more like Donald.
He did, but you know, it's a trade-off because the guy who does James Austin Johnson,
hasn't killed anybody.
Credit, but no,
Put out shot.
Well, shoot. And you're tuning in and saying, what the hell are you talking about? Well, we're just two guys turking some more.
Who could forget it? The way he packed that food away. Must take 50 plates to feed my brother.
Keep on the squash, Josh. Slice up the spam, Sam. And then you better step back, Jack, and watch me eat.
Sound like Louis Armstrong. Yep, it's all about the food. But here's an interesting thing for talking about for at least a minute or two. And it falls in the category of, I think, useful information. And I don't know whether Dave was aware of this. I mean, you're a bright guy, but maybe you didn't put it together. I hadn't. And I just thought, it's one of those articles. And I went, yeah, that makes sense. How come I never thought of that all these years? This guy posted online that he had visited a local food bank and not only dropping stuff off, but he had the chance to stand and chat with somebody or somebodies who were running the operation. And those things do marvelous, wonderful.
We do a lot of work with the food bank.
Essential work. Yes,
Mike Hines and Look do.
Yes, you do.
The Delaware Food Bank.
Yes, you do. And I've donated my own stuff from time to time and been part of those events from time to time. Not Dave's things, but things like that. It's just a good cause.
It definitely is.
But here's an interesting thing. This guy said, here's some things I learned from those who know and those about in need. For example, this is the tone of this thing. Almost everybody donates Kraft mac and cheese in the box. Mm-hmm. It's a wonderful thing. It's simple to get. They rarely use those because they need milk and they need butter, which are hard to get from regular food banks. The tone of this whole thing is really, think, McFlies, think.
Right.
When you're getting ready to donate.
I wouldn't have thought of that.
There you go. Nor I. And it's a wonderful, you got to go past, go a little past.
Right.
The thought of it. Boxed milk is a treasure because kids need it for cereal, which they also get a lot of. It's easy just to grab a box of Raisin Bran and throw it in the box to give it the, but what are they going to
put on it? Right.
There you go. Everybody donates pasta sauce and spaghetti noodles. Now, anything's better than nothing, but a little imagination, perhaps a little, hey, maybe some beefaroni. Okay. Or I'm not being preachy. I don't mean to come off that way, but these are just things, because almost all these things made me go, yeah, well, we should be thinking about it. They can't eat all the awesome canned veggies and soup unless you put a can opener in or buy the kind that have pop tops.
Yes, that would make sense.
So a nice gift would be maybe 2-3 cans of whatever you get, and then take a little inexpensive can opener and maybe wrap a little tape around it and make a little gift pack out of it. See, there you go. How thoughtful. Oil is a luxury, cooking oil. People don't think, I'm going to give the food bank cooking oil, but it's needed for rice-a-roni, which they say they get tons of. Because people grab boxes of rice-a-roni.
Right.
And this is like the
and Hamburger Helper and all that stuff.
That's in the list too.
Yeah.
Hamburger Helper is useless without the hamburger. What else? Spices or salt and pepper, real gift, because they don't get very much of that. Tea bags, coffee.
They said tea bag.
Tea bags. Sugar and flour. These are things that you don't think of because they're not, I don't know, maybe they're not sexy enough, but they don't get very much of that kind of stuff. Right. They love fresh produce donated by farmers and grocery stores. You can imagine they probably don't get a lot of fresh vegetables and fresh fruit.
Well, they're so perishable, that wouldn't come to people's minds.
And that's why we're here.
Yeah.
They get lots of peanut butter and jelly, but guess what they don't get a lot of?
Bread.
See, and you're like, Cake mix and frosting make it possible to make a child's birthday cake, but don't grab a box of cake mix and throw it in the bag because then again, they got to have the eggs and the milk and the thing.
Right.
Think ahead. Dishwashing detergent is very expensive, so it's very appreciated, and very seldom is it a gift that's given to the food bank because it's also not food.
Right.
Everybody loves stovetop stuffing, and apparently you don't have to put anything in stovetop stuffing, do you, except maybe water?
I think so, yeah, just water.
So there's that. And finally, this has, and I don't know why I thought of Dave when I saw this at the bottom of the list, and they say it has nothing to do with food, but it's one of those things when you need them, you need them. Feminine hygiene products are very seldom offered up.
Well, yeah.
Well, I made the association with pussy, and that's all.
I want some stovetop stuffing and a tampon for Thanksgiving.
That's right. Well, you know, every year they have they show the parody photograph of the pumpkin spice Tampax. That's all the rage.
Well, I don't know if you heard this joke.
Not yet.
There are two tampons walking down the street. Which one says hello first?
I don't know, Mr. Bones. Which one says hello?
Neither one of them. They were both stuck up cunts.
Oh.
But a chat.
Dave will be appearing with Mike Hines and the Look. I'll give you the address later.
There you have it.
Yeah, there you go. Well, Dave brought up food, rightly so, because gosh darn it. Yeah, grateful, thankful. All right, you know, it's all about the grub. Why? Because we love Thanksgiving. Why? Because the food is fucking great.
Give thanks or die! Give thanks or die! Now give me that pumpkin pie!
Speak of the devil, from the forthcoming Mike Hines and the Look holiday album. That's Dave on lead vocal there. Very excited. Give thanks or die. This is just a couple of random things because we were going to talk random stuff here on this whole program. Saluting Thanksgiving 2021, if you're just joining us, and it's a podcast. Why the fuck would you be joining us 50 minutes in? What's the matter with you? Hidden Valley Ranch. Have you heard this yet?
Yeah, I haven't heard this.
Hidden Valley Ranch holiday collection, limited edition ranch nog.
Ew.
Whiskey, rosemary. The kit comes with 2 glasses, a jigger, ranch
What'd you call me?
Sorry, that's jigro. I have to say jigger. Can't say jigger. Hidden Valley Ranch seasoning packets and a recipe card showing you how to make the cocktail for $50. My question is, why, God? Why? Do you have any knowledge of anybody on the planet that you've ever experienced who would like to have eggnog that's essentially mixed with ranch dressing?
I will tell you this. 2019, Engine Number 9 played the Philadelphia Wing Fest. It's a chicken wing festival.
Of course it is.
They actually had a ranch. Dude, this is the most disgusting thing I've ever seen.
Well,
and I've seen a lot of disgusting shit. They had a ranch dressing drinking contest.
Yeah, but that's just goldfish swallowing, you know. I mean, it's gross.
Well, people were throwing up. It was
but that was the point, was to make people throw up in a goofball. This is like a serious, actual. Hey, how about a delicious eggnog with a little? Yeah, the only ranch dressing that I want in my eggnog is Jack Daniel's Black. Okay, that made no sense to me at all. All right, now here's one of those things they do on morning radio, and I thought, I'm not going to do this. But then I thought, you know what, I'm tired of looking shit up, so let's just talk about this for 2 minutes. What is the favorite Thanksgiving food of the average Thanksgiving food eater person?
Eater person?
Eater person. Of all the things that are on the Thanksgiving table, Zippia did a little survey, and they did some research, and they found this is the #1 most popular item in the Thanksgiving Day menu. What do you think it is?
Mashed potatoes.
Why would you say that?
Just because.
That's exactly right.
I mean, it's my favorite.
Well, then that's the reason. 10 states in the survey named mashed potatoes as their favorite. All right, wise guy, what's the second favorite side dish?
Stuffing.
No.
Oh.
Rolls.
Ah, yes.
You know, so see, the myth for years and years has been that Thanksgiving is all about blessings and gratitude and all that shit. Forget it. It's about starch and carbs.
Starch and carbs. That's all it is.
My favorite law firm. Starch and carbs. Other states named glazed carrots as the favorite, creamed corn, not to be confused with the porn star, green beans, and side salad. I guess that's like a regular side salad. Nobody mentions the fufu. What do you guys call the fufu? When I say fufu, you know what I'm talking about?
No.
That mandarin orange coconut salad shit.
No, we don't have that.
Okay. Ambrosia is what
ambrosia salad, yeah.
Yeah, there you go. We called it fufu well, my dad called it shit, but that's, you know, nobody eats it.
Now,
there it is.
What my sister and my mother have always made is a pretzel salad. It's like
those are good.
Yeah, they're really good
because they're salty and sweet.
Sweet, yes,
much like ourselves.
So that's always really good. Also, there's a pineapple dish that my sister makes that's really good as well.
Well, for invitations to the Simmons Thanksgiving, feel free to chime in. Here's an interesting thing about that whole survey thing, though. And this just made me go, what? Gravy was not included as an option at all in the choices because they say it's rarely eaten alone. And I'm like, what fucking planet are you living on? Many's the time I've taken a big-ass bowl with a spoon and sat down.
You know who I bet eats gravy alone?
Kyle Rittenhouse.
No, Condren.
Probably.
Because Condren will drink the marinara sauce that she comes with your dipping.
Think about it. I mean, marinara sauce is a little odd to be doing it by yourself, but gravy, milk gravy, is flour and milk and the water and the fat of the whatever you're cooking to give it the flavor. And it's so flour is in there. I don't see any problem with that. It's like it's like soup. It's like a very thick cream soup.
That's true.
They didn't even include that.
You should have forewarned me of this. I would have had Condren call in.
Well, we'll do that next year when he said plenty of warning. And those of you who did you get the yeah, okay, there's that. All right, what else we got? Oh, we got Just Us turking some more again.
It's Thanksgiving, Thanksgiving for everybody, except for Europeans.
That's right. If you're a European, get out of here. Go back where you came from. Because it's all about the spirit of togetherness and happiness.
It's been out long enough now that we can talk about it without spoiling it for people.
Yes.
What's your take on the James Bond movie? Like it? Didn't like it?
Well, you and I, you know, because you and I already talked about this. But I'll share this for the public audience. I liked it. Okay. It was going to be, for me, and this is just my sensibilities, it was going to be hard for the movie to surpass or even meet expectations because I'd been hearing about it for so long and I was so aware of the good work that they do, and I've enjoyed Daniel Craig's work very much.
Right.
So it was really going to have to be slam bang, thank you, ma'am, for it to really make me go, wow. It was like, okay. I didn't like that they killed him off, and not that, oh, by the way, spoiler alert. I didn't like that they killed him off, but more because of the way they did it than the fact that they did it.
That's exactly what I hated. The end. The ending could suck a giant bag of dicks. I did not like.
That's thumbs down for those of you keeping track of the movie reviews.
That's the modern Roger Ebert. It was too campy. I would have the ending.
Yeah.
I would have much rather had one of the 3 million bullets that missed him in the very end.
Yeah, those bad guys
hit him and kill him.
You know, those bad guys were as bad a shot as every stormtrooper in the Star Wars movies.
That's what Dean said. That's what my buddy Dean said. It had a Star Wars-ish type of stormtrooper.
You can't hit the side of a barn and the fucking blast.
Sometimes he wasn't even looking and firing, and they were just dropping.
Right.
I just said. Him standing there staring at the missiles coming in on the phone saying, I'm not going to make it.
Right.
And then cutting to the girl driving the Aston Martin saying, let me tell you a story about James Bond. I'm like, that's fucking suck.
It was, well, my metaphor was the way it came in. And again, we've already told you that it gets killed off. So sorry if we broke it for you, but it's been a while. You should have already seen the movie.
It's on you, not us.
Yeah. The bad guy, they're on Alcatraz or, an island like Alcatraz.
Yes.
And Bond is poisoned with this poison that infects people to the point where they just literally evaporate and die. So he realizes that if he goes back to his family, because it's also determined that he has a kid, and that the what's her name? Madeline is the character's name. She was also in the one before, Spectre.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. White's daughter. You Bond people know what I'm talking about. The rest of you don't give a shit, and I don't blame you. But he realized he couldn't go back to them because he was infected with this thing that didn't affect him, but it would affect whoever he touched. So he sacrificed himself, was essentially what happened. But the bad guys have fired these, or actually it's the good guys, firing missiles to destroy the compound, not realizing Bond's already taken care of business. So Bond goes out on the end of the peninsula and stands there. And I said the whole thing just, to me, it felt like they were trying to nudge into Marvel Comics territory.
Right.
He wasn't a superhero, but he was going to die in an explosion of missiles all around him. And it was like, come on, this is James Bond.
Yeah. It was worse than Roger Moore on Roger Moore's worst day.
Yeah, don't get me started on Roger Moore.
But you see what I'm saying about how campy and yeah, it was.
And I didn't care much for Rami Malek played the part of the bad, quote unquote bad guy suitably for what the bad guy was. But I thought the bad guy was very lifeless in the tradition of really cool bad guys like Christoph Waltz, who played Blofeld, who was also in this movie. Javier Bardem in Skyfall.
And Goldfinger.
You know, not one of the great villains. No, it was, I'd give it, out of 5 stars, I'd give it
3.
I'd give it 3 in the holiday spirit. Ordinarily, I'd give it 2.5 and say, okay.
And I don't know where this misconception that Rami Malek is some brilliant actor. He was fucking Freddie Mercury being a bad guy in this. It really was. I don't think he's that good.
Well, different strokes, and I'm not arguing with you. I don't care for the guy as an actor. He seems personable enough. He's kind of odd looking, which I think lends to it. I think it's flavor of the month, with all due respect to his accomplishments. He's considered cutting edge and an amazing actor because, for the same reason, many years ago when Michael Jackson's Thriller album came along and sold like 100 billion copies, and somebody and I were talking about it, and I said in my own charming, supportive, albeit cynical way, I said, let me explain how this works to you. I said, let's say that album sold 100 million copies. 20 million people bought that album because they really liked it or they really loved it. 80 million people bought that album because the other 20 million did and said, you got to have this album because it's great.
Right.
Rami Malek is an acclaimed actor because a lot of people acclaim him and other people. There's only 2 kinds of people in the world, leaders, followers, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
But anyway, so enjoy the Bond film. May want to crank it up for, there's some spectacular stunts.
Oh, yeah.
My wife, who's not big on the action kind of stuff, and I won't give it away, but in the very beginning, the motorcycle jump.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that was serious. All right. We're at the point where we got to do one more little chirking thing. Did I do that already? Yeah, I did that already. It's time, and I don't have a drum roll, I got a gobble, to answer the amazing holiday riddle here on the Blab for valuable prizes, which we will determine and get back to you on at a future show. I said earlier there was a song that was originally composed and intended to be a Thanksgiving tribute, a Thanksgiving song, because there just really aren't any. But it was very popular during the Christmas season, and I said, which song is it? And I told you don't Google, because anybody can do that. Think about it, or talk amongst your friends. And at this point, I've already spent way more time than matters because nobody's really going to give a shit once you find out what it is. But here's the answer. It was composed in 1857 by a guy named James Pierpont, and it was so popular during the Christmas season that in 1859, a mere 2 years later, they officially changed the name of the song. It was originally called One Horse Open Sleigh. Ring any bells? That's right. It became Jingle Bells.
Christmas time is here again. With it comes the snow. It's awful hard to start your car when it's 12 below. My antifreeze is failing me. The battery is dead. Then all at once that awful sound comes ringing in my head. Jingle bells, ringing in my head. If I had a lick of sense, I'd go right back to bed. Jingle bells, listen to them chime. I wish they would have Christmas in the good old summertime.
The Christmas song stylings of Homer and Jethro, a very funny comedy duo from back in the 1950s, Mom and Dad. And that's a little shout-out dedication, holiday dedication to one of our good friends, Joe Schmeiser, who's the executive director of the Chamber of Commerce of Milford, Delaware. Good friend of the show, good friend of Dave and mine personally.
Yes.
And every summer, they do a charitable golf tournament. The Chamber sponsors, underwrites it, and lots of folks come out, and it's a fundraising thing, and it's delightful, and Joe insists on having it in July when the heat index is 163 fucking degrees. And I'm always saying, hey, when I get invited, which is seldom since I started ragging on her, but it's like, hey, have you ever heard of, let me try something out for you, September? How about June? Late May, perhaps? No. Let's go out and play golf in the dead of July when it's 167 fucking degrees outside. Well, Homer and Jethro addressed the idea that Christmas should be in summertime, and there you go.
Yeah, it's really weird that song. It was originally written. It's weird how I know this bullshit. was originally written. There were sleigh races.
Of course.
And he wrote that for the sleigh races.
Doo-dah, doo-dah.
Mm-hmm.
Zippity-yay.
And then they changed a few of the lyrics. And then who made it popular?
Jingle Bells?
Bing.
Huh?
Bing Crosby.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I was going to say
Yeah.
Bing, not because I knew, but because it was kind of the sort of semi-automatic
Yeah.
guess
Yeah.
that I would go for.
Yeah.
If that was gonna... All right. Well, that's it. So it's Jingle Bells. And
that became the most well-known version that we all know today.
That's right. And congratulations to our winner. The prize is on the way. People are saying to themselves, did he name a winner?
Did he even name a prize?
And what was the prize? Of course not. Want to know why? Because I'm practicing my skills to run for office.
There you go.
Very soon.
Making promises we don't keep.
I'm going to lie to your fucking faces, and you're not even going to realize that's what I just did.
That's too funny.
There you go. All right, it's time for us to go. You got anything you want to wrap up with?
I got one bad Thanksgiving story.
Okay.
I couldn't find a bad sexual story, unfortunately.
Well,
this is from a lady named Kathy. I went with a boyfriend and spent the morning with his family on Thanksgiving Day. Brothers and sisters and their significant others were all there from all over the country. His grandmother was there, sitting quietly in the recliner and not saying much. After a couple of hours, dinner was ready, so when they all got up out of the living room to go eat dinner, Grandma didn't. And they just thought she was having a hard time getting up. When they walked over there, she was stone dead and cold. She had been dead the entire time they were all talking.
It's kind of sweet.
So she said somebody called an ambulance, and the boyfriend's parents went with the body, and the rest of us had a very odd and awkward dinner. Does that sound like a fun Thanksgiving to you?
Who wouldn't love a pony? Who wouldn't love to have a pony? Yeah, that's if at all possible, just because it puts a little damper on the whole season.
Don't die.
Older folks, if you can stay alive until the end of the dinner, that'd be great. I'm just saying. All right, we'll be back, I think maybe next week. If not, we're going into the Christmas season. All kinds of fun Christmas contests coming up, too, with lots of prizes, just like we had today. So
Yes.
you want to be sure and be part of that.
And I'm going to see Genesis.
There you go.
There you go.
Look at you.
Yeah.
All right. Dave's going to report on all of those things, and I'm sure at some point he'll go and see one monkey or another because that's become his reason for living.
Well, yeah.
And that's as it should be.
Kinda
All right.
does it.
Be safe. Enjoy your holiday. Thanks to everybody for whatever the hell.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Be grateful, and we'll be back next time with more of The Blab.
I've got plenty to be thankful for. Oh, I've got plenty to be thankful for.
The Blab.
So give me that pumpkin pie!